That was badass! RRR, released in 2022 and is directed by S.S. Rajamouli, who has also directed such films like Student Number 1, Sai Chhatrapati, Ega, Bahubali The Beginning, and Bahubali 2 The Conclusion. If only more franchise filmmakers would actually take note of those titles and just name their franchises with those running tags. Alien The Beginning, Alien The Conclusion, Lord of the Rings The Long Beginning, and The Lord of the Rings The Long Conclusion. And this 3-hour epic of a film is starring N.T. Ramarao Jr., Ram Charan, Asia Diving, Alia Bhatt, Sharia Saran, Samurathakani, Alison Dudi, Olivia Morris, and Ray Stevenson. I kept saying to myself, I knew that face of that Royal British Commander prick of a person, just couldn't put who it was. It's Ray Stevenson. It's the Punisher. It's the guy from those Thor films who we always forget about. And the reason why we're talking about RRR today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from one of my subscribers and contributors on this channel, Dr. Camp. Thank you very, very much for this recommendation. Usually with your recommendations, they're all very, I guess it's in your name, it's all very campy, very fun. A lot of the films, I guess, would be categorized as pretty freaking stupid, but this one is anything but that. This is a 3-hour epic Indian film that is available on Netflix, and hopefully by the end of this review, you will get the sense from me that I am imploring you to go watch this thing. It's a new release from this year. This is one of the best movies of 2022. RRR is an adaptation and fabrication of two legendary revolutionists of the 1920s in India, Komaram Bhim and Rrr Satamina Raju. Bhim, who is known for his brute strength and being a tribal man of the people, whereas Raju appears to be a very skilled fighter who is in the British military. So it is safe to say that both of these characters do butt heads in the film eventually, but also explores their developed and growing brotherhood and friendship with each other. And that is the best plot synopsis that I can provide without spoiling anything. And it's really hard because this film is 3 hours long. There is so much that happens in this thing. This reminds me of those epic films that we would get from Hollywood in the 60s and the 70s, like Ben-Hur, Lawrence of Arabia, and hell, even in modern day times with Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Hell, I'll even throw out an epic of Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's right, sue me, I don't care, it's a great film. But this is the newest entry into those long, epic masterpieces of movies, because this one is definitely a masterpiece in itself. And it's so hard to pin down exactly what this movie is because it's so many things. It's an action-adventure piece. It's a friendship film. It's a romantic comedy. It's a musical at some points. It's a revenge tale. It's everything. This movie is every genre, and I would say every movie just combined into one epic thing. This movie was freaking awesome. We get some Indiana Jones in there at some points, we get some Jungle Book, we get Pride and Prejudice at some points, and then it breaks into like an epic musical piece with a bunch of like Glee auto-tune voices, but still, it's like Les Mis at points. And then all of a sudden, the movie becomes Rambo. What is this? I'll tell you what it is. It is a great film that just showcases a great friendship and brotherhood between two really unstoppable forces when you look at just who they are as characters in this movie. Bhim, who is this just muscular, massive person who is as strong as an ox, but he's a man of the people, and he hasn't taken to the British imperialism and capitalism that is coming through and sweeping the country. And then Raju, who has infiltrated the British military and has become part of their police force, but is secretly trying to bring revolution to his people. And I've been saying this for years, and I'm finally that this film finally proves my theory, is that in order to become best friends, you have to be dangling by rope over a bridge trying to save a little child from a burning oil fire that is happening on the river underneath the bridge. That's the only way that you really become true friends, in my opinion. And this film proves it. It was a pretty badass sequence too. I don't think I've ever seen a rescue like that in a film before. It was awesome. And I love how immediately after that happens that they just become blood brothers, and then we get into a awesome montage. It's like Rocky. All of a sudden here's Rocky. It's all the Sylvester Stallone films just compiled into one. But yeah, they start hanging out. They start working out together. They start going on joyrides on motorcycles and horseback together. They're like the bestest of friends. This movie's freaking awesome. There were many times though where I'm sitting there just out loud asking myself, what is this? What am I watching? But in that confusion and not sure like where it's gonna go next because this thing is so outlandishly ridiculous, I couldn't help but keep pumping my fist up in the air with all the badassery that is happening on screen. Now the movie is 3 hours long, so if you are going to watch that, please know going into it. I think I sat down one night to think that this was going to be like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and this was late at night, and sat down and I was like, 3 hours? I gotta put aside time for this. Shit, I can't do this tonight. The question, though, is that does it need to be 3 hours? I don't think it does. The movie is very stylized and has its own cinematography style and action sequence style, where you have fast-paced people running through crowds, but then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it'll just convert into slow motion, and then we'll go back into normal speed, and then slow motion again. And it sets the precedent of that right there in the very beginning, so it's not coming out of nowhere. No, this is the style that this story and this film is being presented in. The slow motion, though, gets a little carried away. There are moments and there are action pieces that are in slow motion that you're like, that didn't need to be in slow motion. We didn't need to see someone tripping over a rock, but then somehow like flying up into the air, defying gravity and shooting a bunch of soldiers. That could have just been one plain, normal, straightforward, normal speed sequence. This would happen again and again. It would happen a lot throughout the film. That was really the only thing that was pulling me out, keeping me from giving this film a perfect 5 out of 5 Blu-ray score. That and the auto-tune voices for when these characters were singing. They have great voices, but just because they were in like the common streets, like hell, even one of them is being flagged to death and he's breaking into this awesome song, but he sounds like he's in a recording studio and auto-tuned, and like that's like, come on, he doesn't sound like that computerized in real life. We could have just listened to him sing, or at least I wish I could have just heard him sing. But those two aspects are small, tiny little nitpicks that I have of this amazing movie that I hope that everyone gets to see. Apparently, it's the biggest blockbuster in the history of Bollywood and the history of films produced by India. And I think a lot more Americans need to realize that this film exists and go watch it. It's available on Netflix, damn it. It is free. Please watch this, I implore you. It is awesome. I'm a little upset though that this film is not available currently. It is not available in physical media, because the second this thing was done, I was like, I want to purchase this. This needs to be part of my collection, and it's nowhere. So, developers of RRR, you have to get that going, because I would definitely buy physical media for this movie. I'm gonna give RRR 4.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
It's good. It's good.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my videos where I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next. And the next one comes as another PayPal recommendation and donation from another one of my contributors and subscribers on this channel. Actually a personal friend of mine, Kyle Roush. Thank you very much for the recommendation of the movie Phone Booth. That's right, kids. Back in my day, we didn't have these small, tiny cellular devices. We actually had to go to a box in the middle of the street to make a phone call. I've only seen this movie one time before. I know it's starring Kiefer Sutherland as the voice of the terrorist, the guy with the sniper looking at the phone booth with Colin Farrell, and Colin Farrell's a bit of a prick, so we'll check it out next time. So guys, have you seen RRR? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I'm releasing next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.